The Mummy 4's first teaser has quietly leaked online, and trust me, it changes everything we thought we knew about this movie. After years of waiting, after endless rumors, and after losing all hope, the return of Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz is not just confirmed. It looks like Universal is setting up the most dangerous, emotional, and mysterious adventure Rick and Evelyn have ever faced. And yes, the leaked plot hints are even crazier than you think. So let's dive into what this teaser reveals, what dangers our favorite duo is about to walk into, and why this comeback might be the biggest moment in the entire franchise. The moment the leak appeared, fans instantly lost their minds, and honestly, I can understand why. The teaser doesn't show much, but what it does reveal is enough to make every Mummy fan scream with excitement. The very first thing we see is a dusty, broken compass spinning violently on the ground. It keeps turning and turning as if something invisible is shaking the earth beneath it. At first, it looks like a simple visual, but the sound behind it, a deep, echoing chant that slowly rises, immediately tells us this is not Egypt, and this is not China. This is somewhere far older, far more hidden, and far more dangerous. And then, before you even realize it, the compass suddenly stops by pointing toward a giant stone carving of a sun god. This symbol is the biggest clue because it directly hints at an Incan curse, something the third movie teased all the way back in 2008. But the moment that made everyone freeze is what comes next. The teaser cuts to a close-up of an old journal page, stained with dirt and ripped at the edges, and written across it in rushed handwriting is a message that immediately sends chills down your spine. He should never have been awakened. The music drops, the chanting fades, and for a split second, everything gets silent, until we hear a familiar voice breathe, "Rick, this is worse than we imagined." It is unmistakably Rachel Weisz's voice, and hearing her as Evelyn after so many years feels like a punch of pure nostalgia. It confirms what no one expected so soon. Rachel is officially back, and the teaser is preparing us for her return in the most dramatic way possible. The next moment is even more shocking because we finally hear Brendan Fraser. His voice sounds older, tired, and heavy, like Rick O'Connell has been carrying a secret for years. And he simply says, "Then we do what we always do. We face it." That one line is all it takes. The charm, the bravery, the humor, everything that made Rick iconic instantly comes rushing back. And the fact that Universal chose to reveal their voices in the leak instead of waiting for the official trailer says one thing. They are fully aware that this reunion is the heart of the movie. Fans have been begging for Brendan and Rachel to return for almost 2 decades, and hearing them together again is more emotional than anyone expected. But that's not even the biggest part. In the final shot of the teaser, we see a massive stone temple surrounded by thick fog. Strange, shadowy figures move on the walls, almost like spirits crawling across the surface. The fog begins to clear, revealing the outline of what looks like a sealed tomb door covered in golden symbols. And right before the screen cuts to black, we hear a single ancient whisper say, "He rises with the sun." That line has already taken the internet by storm because fans believe it confirms the movie's villain, an Incan emperor known for rituals connected to solar eclipses and sacrifice. This means The Mummy 4 is diving deep into South American mythology, something fans have been dreaming about since the hint at the end of Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Everything about this teaser feels darker, older, and more mysterious than any previous Mummy movie. The pacing is intense, the visuals feel ancient and cursed, and the return of the original cast gives it a level of emotional weight we haven't felt since the early 2000s. And what makes this even crazier is that the tone of the teaser suggests Rick and Evelyn are not just returning for an adventure, they are returning for a rescue mission. Because the journal page in the teaser is rumored to belong to Alex, their son, which means this may not be a simple exploration gone wrong. This could be a desperate race against time, against a curse older than anything the franchise has ever shown, and against an enemy who has powers very different from Imhotep or the Dragon Emperor. If these leaks are real, and all signs point to them being extremely close to the real thing, then The Mummy 4 is about to be the darkest and most emotional film in the series. And honestly, Seeing Rick and Evelyn step into danger again after retirement feels like the perfect way to continue the story. It shows that even after all these years, the O'Connells still have unfinished business with the ancient world. Now, let's move deeper into the part everyone has been talking about nonstop: the plot leak. Trust me, the more you hear about it, the more you'll realize that this is not just another mummy movie. This is the most ambitious, dangerous, emotionally heavy story the franchise has ever tried to tell. According to what insiders are claiming, The Mummy 4 takes place years after Rick and Evelyn's retirement. They have finally found peace, finally stepped away from all the chaos that consumed their lives for so long. But as always, their past refuses to stay buried. The leak reveals that the movie starts with something unusual happening in Peru. A group of archaeologists disappears inside a newly uncovered Incan chamber, leaving behind nothing but unfinished notes, broken equipment, and a final recording filled with panic and whispers about a son-born king. This event instantly becomes a global mystery. But for Rick and Evelyn, it becomes something far more personal when they discover that Alex, their son, was secretly part of the excavation team. He had accepted the mission without telling them, wanting to prove he could handle things on his own. And when he goes missing without a single message or clue, everything in Rick and Evelyn's peaceful life shatters in an instant. The leak suggests that Evelyn is the first one to notice something is wrong. She receives a damaged package containing Alex's journal, burned at the edges, filled with sketches of unfamiliar symbols, and marked with frantic warnings about a ritual that should never be completed. Evelyn tries to convince herself it's nothing dangerous, but the handwriting tells another story. Every sentence shows panic, fear, and desperation, something she hasn't seen in her son's writing since he was a child. Rick, on the other hand, reacts exactly like you would expect him to. He tries to stay strong, tries to calm Evelyn down, but he knows deep inside that Alex is in trouble. And when he reads the final page of the journal, with Alex's shaking handwriting saying, "If I don't come back, don't open the temple," Rick understands immediately. He has no choice. Their retirement is over. Their quiet life is over. The O'Connells are stepping back into darkness, whether they want to or not. According to the leak, the story starts speeding up when Rick and Evelyn head to Peru, and from the moment they arrive, things get strange. Locals warn them not to go near the ruins, claiming the spirits of ancient warriors have awakened. They talk about a legendary Incan emperor known as Inti Rucana, a ruler said to control the power of the sun and protect the boundary between the living and the dead. His tomb was believed to be lost for centuries, buried so deep that even the bravest explorers refused to seek it. But Alex, eager to prove himself, found it. And now, based on everything the teaser hints at, opening that tomb might have unleashed something beyond anyone's understanding. The leak also claims that the Incan curse is different from the ones we've seen before. This time, the mummy doesn't wake because someone stole his treasure or disturbed his resting place. He wakes because Alex's team accidentally triggered a solar seal, a sacred mechanism designed to lock his spirit away until the sun aligns with a rare celestial event. And unfortunately for everyone, that alignment is happening in the movie. What makes this plot even more intense is the emotional weight behind it. The leak says that Evelyn blames herself for Alex's disappearance, believing she passed on her curiosity and need for discovery to him. Meanwhile, Rick deals with the guilt of stepping away from adventuring, thinking he could have protected Alex if he had stayed involved. Their entire journey becomes more than a rescue mission. It becomes a painful reflection on their past decisions, their family, and the life they tried to build away from danger. And this emotional depth is exactly what fans have been craving. Seeing Rick and Evelyn not as heroes, but as parents terrified of losing their son, adds a personal intensity that makes this story feel bigger than anything we've seen before. The most exciting part of this entire leak is how it describes the return of Rick and Evelyn, not just as legendary adventurers, but as people who have changed, grown, and now face the greatest challenge of their lives. According to the insiders, their dynamic in The Mummy 4 is more mature, more emotional, and more powerful than ever before. The story doesn't treat them like action heroes who magically stayed the same over the years. Instead, it shows the real weight they carry from everything they survived in Egypt and China. Rick is older, his body isn't what it used to be, and even though he tries to hide it, he knows he isn't the unstoppable fighter he once was. But beneath all of that, he still has the same bravery, the same fire in his heart, and the same instinct to protect the people he loves. Evelyn, on the other hand, is shown as someone whose mind has never stopped exploring. Retirement didn't slow her curiosity or her need to understand the world, and because of this, she becomes the key to unlocking the mysteries surrounding the Incan Empire. The leak says Evelyn is the first to understand that this curse is not random, and that the Emperor they are facing might be more powerful than Imhotep and the Dragon Emperor combined. But what truly makes this return so special is how Rick and Evelyn react to the possibility of losing their son. Whenever their story comes up in fan discussions, people always mention how strong their bond is. They were never just partners. They were a team, a balance of courage and intelligence, humor and heart. And the Mummy 4 uses that bond in the most emotional way possible. The leaks mention a powerful moment early in their journey, when Evelyn admits she is terrified that Alex's disappearance is her fault, and Rick comforts her by saying, "He's an O'Connell. He's stubborn, he's smart, and he never gives up." Just like his mother. That one line has already made thousands of fans emotional because it perfectly reflects Rick's character. Tough, sarcastic, but deeply caring. It shows how much he believes in his son and in Evelyn, and scenes like this prove why bringing the original cast back was not just a nostalgic decision, it was necessary. Nobody else could deliver this kind of emotional energy. The leak also suggests that their search for Alex leads them into a deeper part of Peru, where ancient ruins are hidden by forests, fog, and traps that have been untouched for centuries. This is where the tone of the movie becomes darker. Local villagers warn them that the temple isn't just cursed, it is alive. They say the Emperor's spirit is restless, because the world is nearing a solar event that occurs only once every 1,000 years. If he awakens during that moment, he gains the ability to control light as a weapon. Some villagers even believe the Emperor can drain sunlight itself, turning day into night and night into something even worse. What makes this mythology even more intense is that the Emperor is not resurrected through simple magic. Instead, his return is tied to a ritual involving sacrificed energy, stolen life, and ancient guardians who serve him even in death. These guardians are said to walk without sound, move without breath, and sense fear like animals hunting in the dark. Imagine Rick and Evelyn entering tunnels where they cannot even hear their own footsteps, unsure if the shadows around them are just darkness or something alive waiting to strike. The most terrifying part of the leak explains that the Emperor was feared even by his own people. He was known as the one who speaks with the sun, a ruler believed to have been chosen by the gods. Legends say he could communicate with celestial forces, commanding storms, eclipses, and even volcanic eruptions. When he died, his priests were said to have sealed his spirit in a stone chamber designed to trap him between this world and the next. But the chamber could only hold him as long as the ancient solar seal remained intact. This is where things get truly scary. Alex's team unknowingly broke that seal while trying to document the carvings inside the temple. They thought it was just a decorative piece of stone, not realizing the entire structure around them was acting like a prison. And once the seal cracked, the Emperor's spirit began to wake, searching for a vessel, a body, or even a sacrifice to complete his return. This is why the Guardians began to rise. They were not protecting the tomb, they were trying to prevent the Emperor from escaping. But once the seal was broken, everything became uncontrollable. The leak says that Rick and Evelyn slowly start uncovering these truths as they dig deeper into Alex's notes and the carvings inside the temple walls. The carvings show a horrifying prophecy, a figure rising under a burning sun, surrounded by the shadows of the dead. And beneath that image, a warning is written in ancient script. When the sun bleeds, he walks. Evelyn realizes that this refers to a rare solar eclipse that creates a phenomenon where the sky turns red for a few minutes. And this event is happening within days of their arrival. That means the Emperor is not fully awake yet. But they are running out of time. Every hour they lose brings the world closer to a catastrophe. This entire section of the leak proves one thing. The Mummy 4 is raising the stakes higher than ever. This is not just a journey to rescue Alex or stop a single curse. This is a race against a cosmic event tied to ancient gods, dangerous rituals, and a villain with powers we have never seen before in the franchise. And with Rick and Evelyn caught in the middle of it all, their emotional journey becomes as important as the physical danger surrounding them. If this leak is true, Section 3 confirms that The Mummy 4 is shaping up to be more intense, more heartfelt, and more terrifying than anyone expected. The most shocking part of the leak focuses on Alex himself, and honestly, this might be the darkest storyline the Mummy franchise has ever attempted. According to insiders, Alex's disappearance is not simply a case of being lost underground or trapped inside ruins. The leak claims that Alex has been caught in the middle of a ritual older than recorded history, something that was never meant to be seen by living eyes. The moment his team cracked the solar seal, the Emperor's spirit began searching for a host strong enough to carry his power. And since Alex was the first human to step inside the chamber, he became the perfect target. The leak suggests that Alex didn't just vanish. He was taken, not physically dragged away, but spiritually marked by the Emperor, almost like a connection formed between them. His journal entries grow more frantic as he writes about seeing shadows that follow him even in daylight, hearing whispers inside his dreams, and watching his own reflection move before he does. One line in the journal says, "He knows my name," which shows just how terrified Alex must have been before everything went wrong. As Rick and Evelyn explore deeper into the temple, they discover traces of Alex's journey. Drops of ink, torn pages, markings on walls made with whatever he could find as he tried to leave clues behind. But the deeper they go, the more they realize Alex wasn't just searching for a way out. He was trying to stop something. The leak mentions a horrifying discovery where Rick finds a carving that Alex scratched into a stone pillar. It simply says, "Don't let him finish it." And next to it, a handprint frozen in dried, darkened mud. Evelyn realizes this means Alex understood the ritual before anyone else did. He tried to prevent the Emperor from completing his return, but he failed. The guardians, the whispers, the moving shadows, everything inside the temple was working together to keep Alex isolated, scared, and controlled. Rick and Evelyn slowly piece together that Alex is still alive, but he is trapped in a part of the temple where time works differently. The Emperor's spirit is keeping him suspended between consciousness and dream, slowly weakening him until the eclipse arrives. And when that moment comes, the Emperor plans to fuse his soul with Alex's body, using him as a vessel to return in physical form. The leak adds even more tension by revealing that this is the first time Rick and Evelyn face a threat that is not purely supernatural, but psychological. The Emperor doesn't appear in his full form early in the movie. Instead, he appears inside dreams, illusions, and visions that feel so real that Rick and Evelyn start questioning their own senses. There are moments where Rick hears Alex calling for him, only to realize the voice is coming from nowhere. Moments where Evelyn sees flickers of Alex's silhouette in the darkness, but when she runs toward it, the figure dissolves into dust. These illusions slowly wear them down, making them doubt whether they will reach Alex in time or whether they are already too late. And what makes this even more emotional is seeing Rick try to keep Evelyn grounded as she breaks down at the thought of losing her child. The leak mentions a heartbreaking scene where Evelyn finds a torn page from Alex's journal, describing a distant childhood memory of her reading to him. Seeing this reminder of a small, innocent moment sends her into tears, and Rick has to pull her away before the Guardians attack. It shows the audience how personal this mission is. Not just another adventure, but a desperate attempt to save their family.